Welcome to another episode of the Online Motivation Channel with me, Hilman Basri. Okay, today we're going to talk about another general topic, which is exercise and eat healthy. Alright, we heard many stories about healthy lifestyle, exercise to feel good, endorphins makes you happy, stuff like that. But have we ever thought, that this thing is not just a general mere saying of, you trying to have a balanced and disciplined lifestyle? Okay, the whole point of sometimes today, I think one of the biggest trend is to keep yourself buff and keep yourself fit, for yourself. And then we see a lot of people going into massive diet, like very abrupt and immediate diet, so that they could actually, get the body that they desire and everything else. Okay, let me share you with something regarding exercising. Okay, a lot of times we notice that people often exert themselves to get great body shapes. They will say that they will train up a lot, they go hit the gym most of the time, and basically some of them even dedicate their entire life quitting their job just to stay fit, just to kind of like be up in shape, and then train up so well that is what they live for. Those are good. But as much as exercise is concerned, we also want to make sure that you know what to prioritize in your life. You see, having a job, a stable job, is one of the huge necessity in life, because having a stable job, stable income will have you having a much more stable and a much more managed lifestyle. So now comes the time where people say that you keep on working and then you forget to take care of yourself. Alright, when that happens, of course, you start to do something slightly different, which is to train yourself, hit the gym, and then work out more often. So what is actually enough when it comes to working out? It depends on your perspective. For me, I felt that the only way to kind of like having a balanced lifestyle is to actually kind of like work at the same time, have some time doing some workout of your own, doing some cardio, reps, strength, hit to the gym. But you don't really need to so-called dedicate your entire life just to be in the gym all the time. There are much more better things out there, right? And as part of that, good things also comes in with good health. Let's see, on a lot of perspective, people said about training up. For me, I think a balanced lifestyle is important. Okay, as much as what I mentioned before, a stable job, a good social life, and basically some of them would consider a good body, a fit and healthy body is also part of building a good social life. Alright, some factors, when I did a research a couple of months ago regarding social anxiety disorder, which will be one of the topics that we will discuss in a more serious note in one of our lectures, in one of my videos. What is going to happen is a lot of times people who suffer from low self-esteem, having self-doubts, are people who are overweight. Okay, this is just a much more of a generalization. Of course, there are statistics that shows that people who are obese and overweight have a higher tendency of facing or suffering from social anxiety disorder. So one good factor is there is also no statistics that shows that people who are fit and skinny or who are just lean have a much more productive and much more successful rate in their social life. Alright, it's nothing as blatantly justify, or there's no blatant validation towards that. For me, social anxiety disorder could come out to anyone regardless of their shape and size. But of course, a slightly higher statistic just happen to be obese, which makes people wonder that does size really matters when it comes to having a social life? Okay, perhaps not. However, one key way is mostly on how to communicate, which will be in another lecture. But today we're going to talk about exercise and keeping yourself healthy. Okay, eat right and stuff like that. A lot of them who are kind of like slightly in the mild side of obesity, they come up to me and then they said about, okay, I want to lose my fats, so but I want to have 6 packs as well. Okay, having packs is, of course, takes a lot of hard work. You might have seen a lot of videos on YouTube or on some of the other exercise workout regime that people do. Just do this workout for the entire day and you will get 6 packs in no time. What they didn't tell you is behind the scenes, aside from doing that, those reps, those workout that focus more on your abdomen area, they also eat right. They eat a bit. Most of them they cut down on a lot of stuff. What they don't tell you is that they cut down on carbs, they cut down on sugar, they cut down on a lot of other things, on fats as well. So basically, they did some kind of a diet thing behind the scene. But what they are showing you right now with the particular product that they have, with all the packs, what they are showing you in front of the television or in front of the video is basically just the routine exercise that they do in front of you. But what they do not tell you is, you have to eat right and stuff like that. So a lot of them think that, when they work out for maybe 1 hour or 2 hours, it gives them that liberty to eat more. Okay, you see, the thing about exercising is, true enough, yes, exercise, you burn a lot of fats, you get tired. So when you get tired, you need energy. So what do you do to get energy? You eat. But that doesn't mean it kind of like justify that you eat the whole chocolate mousse cake which is from the bakery and stuff like that. It doesn't work that way, my friends. Okay, when it comes to exercising and when it comes to having a healthy eating lifestyle, a healthy diet, something can sound a bit contradicting. But if you want to have a ripped body like those athletes, okay, you need to also constantly check on your diets. Okay, for me, when I used to be obese, right, basically the first thing that I focused upon was to actually lose my fat first. I do not care so much about working out just that much. Yes, so in order to the first few steps of losing weight will be to do a couple of cardios, like going for a jog. And I'm talking about long jogs, like 2-3 clicks, all right, 4 max. And then after those jogs, you have to really, those jogging for hours doesn't satisfy you to doesn't justify you to eat more later on. If you used to eat maybe 2 bowls of rice, there's a lot of carbs out there, guys. So 2 bowls of rice, because we are Asians, most of our supplements energy comes from rice. So when you eat rice, instead of having 2 bowls like your normal portion, maybe this time you have just 1 bowl, right? You have to reduce your intake, right? Because reducing that intake will also reduce that calories that is embedding into your body, but at the same time you still have burned a lot of fat through your normal routines or your normal exercises. So the first thing I do was to actually lose the fat. So yes, I go for my normal, jogging, and then we do a bit of sit-ups. But that sit-ups that I do was not in the intention of having six packs, right? And we do maybe some types of push-ups, all right, some kind of like reps, basically just to lose weight first. But the most important thing is what happens behind those exercises, where I cut down on my sugar, I cut down on my carbo, I cut down on fats. Okay, there are times like today I even cut down on eating red meat, because somehow I'm not a fan of red meat, but I'm a fan of white meat, because I love fish, I love chicken. So these are the type of meat that I eat constantly as a source of protein. Right? I don't eat beef or any other things, not for health reasons. At the same time, it's also just that I don't really consume a lot of this kind of products or this type of meat consumption that much. So I cut down on those food. Okay, then after which, right, there are a lot of things that we normally just happily digest it, but we do not know that they cause a lot of fats to just accumulate in your body. All right, one of the things is soft drinks. Okay, ever since then I stopped taking soft drinks. I stopped taking sugary drinks, for that matter. No syrup drinks, no cordial or whatever it is. I just take plain water. Okay, and a lot of time I just kind of like keep on drinking plain water. If I need a bit of zest or a bit of flavor, maybe I mix my water with a couple of cordial water just to have that zest. But somehow today, when something is a bit too sweet for my taste buds, I would have a bell ringing inside of me that said, hey, this is too sweet, therefore I will not continue consuming that drink. Okay, when talk about sugar, yes, I cut down on a lot of sugar, because sugar is that one particular food that turns nothing in your body other than fats. So sugary drinks, we try to avoid it in total. We try to avoid eating too much of cakes. We try to avoid eating too much of chocolates. These are stuff that it's nice and it's delicious and it's kind of like hard to resist it, especially the first time. But today, right, thank God, right, I don't really like to, I don't really have a sweet tooth, so I think that is one aspect that makes me easy to kind of like resist those food. So but chocolates was a bit hard, because we always have that thinking that, oh, chocolate is an energy snack, so I can eat it to get energy. But what we unconsciously thought was that you keep on saying that it's an energy bar, so you eat it for energy, but it's like you've been eating for 3, 4, 6 bars after in a couple of hours, in a couple of days. 6 chocolate bars, that's a lot of calories to burn, that's a lot of fats that have accumulated into yourself. So chocolates is basically, you can treat yourself to chocolate maybe once a week or maybe once every 4 days if you really have that hunger. So a lot of times when girls especially, they say, do you like chocolates? I said, no, but I don't mind having one now with you, alright, but then I don't really consume chocolate that much. I used to eat a lot of like Snicker bars or Mars, those energy snacks, but then I tend to think that I kind of like get too liberal, because I always think that, oh, it's an energy snack, so I just keep on munching it, which was wrong and very unhealthy, and is not good for in your progress to getting a lean body. So you have to avoid sugar at all costs. Alright, try to minimize your consumption of sugar, try to minimize your consumption of salt. Okay, this might be something which is a bit hard, because most of our cookings, especially Asian cookings, even Western cuisines, we have a certain amount of salt in them. So salt, you can take it with moderation, right? Because we need something. Even sugar, don't completely eradicate sugar from your life, because you need a bit of sugar to sustain. You need some sugar in your blood to be well functioning, because sometimes people can just collapse because of lack of sugar. So we need a bit of sugar, but not too much of it. So usually I usually have those peppermint bars or peppermint sweets, just to have some sugar in my blood most of the time. So we talk about sugar. trying to get it out. All right, we talk about red color meat. All right, meat is something which is contradicting to some people, because some people said, oh, meat is a source of protein. Yes, I agree. So, but for me, I try to minimize or even try to refrain from taking any red meat, and I get a lot of my supplement or my protein through chicken, fish, and even eggs, for that matter. So these are my source of protein. All right. Another thing to actually, if you can, skip it totally, is fast food. Okay, I know it's so convenient, it's so easy to get fast food out there. You name it, whatever fast food is inside your mind. All right, you can actually, on a 7-day weekly basis, every single day is a different fast food. Okay. My experience with fast food is very addictive, alright, and it is very convenient, very simple to consume. Therefore, you keep on just taking it like as if it's no problem. But if you are really into a strict diet, fast food is not the way to help you to actually control that diet. Okay, today I can honestly say to you that the only fast food or the only food that I eat from outlets or that I order delivery is only pizza. And pizza is not the kind of food that you need to consume every single day. So for me, that's how I control it. But once in a while, when I see pizza's advertisement here and there is always that urge. Right? Even for me, when I ordered pizza, I make sure that I ordered pizza which is mostly vegetable pizza, and maybe just simply cheese or super cheese or whatever it is called. I try to avoid those red color meats like meat lovers or other things like that. So basically, that's how I control my urge for fast food. And basically, fast food, a lot of times they are deep fried, and deep fry is pretty bad, if it's being consumed for a long time. All right, because anything that is fried, other than of course, stir fry is considered quite okay because you just use a bit of it. But deep fry, it's a bit too much, especially when you are taking it on a more constant and more repetitive dosage of fast food as well as deep fried food. Is gonna jeopardize your health and is gonna jeopardize your diet. You're not going to get any thinner by doing yourself a favor of eating too much fast food. So fried food, there is that awesome taste. So how do we substitute fried food? My secret is through air frying. Okay, you need to invest some money into buying an air fryer, and I believe that's is for a good purpose. You see, air frying, okay, is of course there are some traces of oil, but the traces of oil usually comes from the particular meat or the particular food itself. Of course, they use lesser or if not no sources of oil at all. So basically, it's much more safer and it's much more healthier choice when it comes to eating your favorite type of cuisine. Okay. There are other methods that we can use other than frying. Basically, we can use grill, we can use steaming, especially for fishes. They're nice when you grill and steam them, and then they don't taste that far different off when you actually cook them like deep fry. So try to avoid deep fried foods, try to avoid frying for that matter. And most of all, this is something that a lot of people try to not consume because it doesn't taste nice. What is it? Vegetables. I know it's really yucky, when just to think about just eating a bunch of leaves. It's really, and then they said, of course, the most healthiest kind of vegetable is the broccoli, and not many of us like broccoli, right? For that matter, we kind of hate broccoli so much that we try to kind of shove it one side of our plates when we actually eating a bunch of salad, because broccoli just doesn't taste nice at all. I know, I hear your plea. So, but you can always not eat broccoli. You can eat other types of vegetables that are much more, much more maybe tasty out of it. Right. There are a lot of ways in which to cook vegetables, and a lot of times my folks usually they like to make it into a soup. So we drink it, we eat it like a soup together with rice. So there must be a bit of carbo. Some people, they said don't eat carbo at all. The worrying factor of not eating carbo is that because you are so conscious about losing weight so much, you don't eat carbo, you don't eat protein, you just lack that nutrition of protein in you, and then you lack a lot of energy in yourself. Okay, eating vegetable the whole time, right, might surface other types of problems in your body. That's why our body needs a lot of balanced type of nutrition in our body. So a little bit of you can have a lot of vegetables, but at the same time you can have carbo as well, have noodles, have rice, have bread, and we need some sort of protein. So like for me, my protein is basically chicken. So and even when I eat chicken, I make it a point not to eat the skin for some reason, for very obvious reason. The skin is where the fat is, so I don't eat skins. I don't but I normally eat fish a lot, and basically it's the control regime. Then when it comes to eating, a lot of people ask, how do I actually control my eating? Okay, there are times, okay, I'm not going to lie to you, but this might work for me, might not work for you. They say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Okay, but for me, I don't really have a very a very heavy breakfast. I usually start off with something mild, just like sandwich or something like that, or maybe cereals on some weekends or something like that. During my lunchtime is the one that I actually eat some of the glorious food, and then during dinner I try to eat less. There are moments where I skip lunch, or there are moments where I skip breakfast, because based on our life, right, we are always committed to do other things. So sometimes we might accidentally skip certain type of meals, sometimes one, sometimes two meals for that matter. So it doesn't matter if you think that don't make it a habit to skip meals all the time, but once in a while, if you happen to skip meals because of other things, it's alright. But just to make sure that you get the additional supplement during your dinner and stuff like that. Okay, if you were to eat dinner, try not to eat dinner too late into the night. Okay, at least have around 3 to 4 hours before bedtime for you to actually digest that food, for the food to actually be processed, and try not to go to bed with a full stomach, because it's really uncomfortable to have that happening. So we spoke about eradicating sugar, we spoke about eliminating fast food in total. We spoke about having a balance of protein, carbo, and vegetables in your meal, and we spoke about whether you should skip meals or not. Okay, I'm not recommending people to skip meals, but sometimes in our busy lifestyle, we tend to kind of like overlook, and we tend to skip. But that's alright, as long as you try to supplement it back with your dinner, and then make sure that your dinner is not too late into the night. Okay, don't have a late night supper, like a heavy late night supper. Okay, don't do that. So this is one of the ways. Of course, if you want to go into much more deeper into what kind of food we eat, it will just make you feel depressed, because for someone who doesn't like vegetables, for someone who loves eating burgers or french fries, it's gonna be a tough ordeal to resist this urge of eating this type of food, and then whatever I'm going to say will just prove to be too far-fetched for you to handle. So one of the ways is also to eat what you like to eat, but in moderation. If you used to eat 2 burgers or 3 burgers per day, maybe just restrict it to 1 per day. Alright, and then reducing this consumption of fatty food, this consumption of sugar, this consumption of I would not say totally cut down on carbo or eat less of carbo, because carbo is one way. Yes, it makes you feel fat, but then it makes you also, you know, if the right amount of exercise being imparted together with the right amount of carbo that you actually consume, you can still come out right. I took rice like nobody business, you know. They say, of course, other alternative like I use from white bread, I change it to wholemeal bread. Okay, I'm trying to think whether right now I should change from white rice to, you know, dark rice. I'm still thinking of it. Might happen, but at the same time, apart from this dieting, this whole strict regime, I have another type of thing that I normally do, and this enhances me in my exercise. Okay, yes, I do chin-ups, I do push-ups, I do sit-ups, different type of sit-ups, I do cardio, you know, jog here from one point to another. But at the same time, one is most important for me is that I do this type of regime called the compound training. Okay, my compound training is very simple. It's a very simple but useful thing. You will feel that, you know, something lifted in you, and then the whole idea of doing compound training is that while you are not even exercising, you're also losing weight, because compound training is a type of training that actually, you know, kind of like helps to tone up every single part of your body. So one of the simple regime of my compound training is just to start off with a reps of 8. You know, I carry a dumbbell, you know, lift it up 8 times, and then after 8 times, then I do push-ups for 8 times. You know, I mean burpees, not push-ups, burpees for 8 times, and then after that I take a 30-second break, and then I do 7, and then 30-second break, and then I do 6, 30-second break until I reach the what. Sometimes if I want to challenge myself, I do it near a chin-up bar, so I start doing 8 chin-ups, and then I start doing 8 burpees. Okay, but this exercise, this compound training that I did suits for me best, and I felt that, you know, I can see the results pretty clearly. But what suits you best, right? You need to get maybe you need to get someone who is you know, specialized in this thing. I mean, I get some pointers from some people, so I think you need to get pointers, because it doesn't work perfectly for everyone. It's not like a one thing suits everyone. Okay, especially dieting, right? It's not like you speak to nutritionists will just say, you know, eat in moderation, you know, because they don't want you to cut down this, cut down that, which is a bit wearying for some people. So but the most important thing is, comes to losing weight and comes to exercising, is to have a balance of everything. All right, you eat as well as you exercise, and then you do your normal routine, like you have to go to work and stuff like that. That's how you have a very balanced diet for yourself. Do not overexert in your exercising. Do not go to an extreme length to get a very, you know, far-fetched type of diet, because all this will have certain diet consequences that we do not want to happen to ourselves. So in general, I'm saying that, okay, as much as we work, okay, we can do whatever our work. Okay, it's good to have a work that, you know, requires you to walk around. I have a table job work, you know, once in a while, yes, from my table I have to go teach, you know, and stuff like that. So that amount of walking is the amount of the minimal amount of exercise that I actually have for the entire day at work. So if I'm feeling alright, every night before I go to bed, I start doing my sit-ups, and I do my sit-ups on my bed, you know. Basically, you know, it's much more, it's a kind of like a cushion type of feeling, so you don't really suppress, and it helps me kind of like build that motivation that I'm doing some reps. Okay, and I do install a chin-up bar outside my bedroom door, you know, so that I can do my chin-ups, but it all boils down to how you think. But remember one thing, okay, it takes a lot of discipline, it takes a lot of commitments. You don't expect to just work out for one day and then the whole entire month you just keep on eating you know, burgers or chips or everything else. It's not going to happen. It's a consistent effort. Alright, you don't have to do it every single day, but you can actually do it on weekends. I mean, I do my normal workout, my compound training during weekends, so the day that I have my off days, those are the days that I normally do my compound training and workouts. So basically, fellas, what I'm trying to say, it takes a lot of determination, it takes a lot of motivation, alright, but one must always understand it's not a one-off thing. You cannot get six packs overnight. You need some strong determination. You need to cut down on you need to watch your diet. At the same time, you need to do the same amount of training or the same amount of exercise every single day in order for this thing to materialize. Okay, in general, I would say that after every training or after every exercise routine, right, you create endorphins, and endorphins makes you happy. You feel good about yourself. And at the end of the day, after maybe one whole year of that discipline regime, you look good and you feel good, and that's where all the positivity starts to come. Okay, in the hope that when you are slightly slimmer and leaner and much more muscular, all right, maybe you will get out of that social anxiety disorder thing, and then you have a much more productive social life. You are good with the ladies, or maybe you are much more confident for yourself. For the ladies, maybe you are much more confident to speak to men, and then men will look at you in a different way. So let's think positive. Okay, yes, it takes work, it takes a lot of commitment, it takes time, but at the end of the day, at the end of the finish line, you will feel good about yourself, and that's all that matters.